Cabbage, salt, thyme, nothing else. While the rest of the world was dying of vitamin deficiency in the winter, the people who fermented their cabbage survived.
Take a look at this video. So this is one of the largest Garri industrial processing plants we have in Nigeria today.
So today we are going to be looking at how some people process their food and if it's actually healthy for you. So just like before, we are going to be going over just 2 videos today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. And if you have anything to say in the comments, and if you want to be featured on next episode, endeavor to leave it in the comments down below.
For 300 years, this was the only thing keeping sailors alive. One captain crossed the entire world, 3 years at sea. He didn't lose a single man to scurvy. This was why. Cabbage, salt, thyme, nothing else. While the rest of the world was dying of vitamin deficiency in the winter, the people who fermented their cabbage survived. The fermentation doesn't just preserve it. It pulls the vitamin C out and makes it something your body can actually absorb. Vitamin K2, live cultures, the kind of thing they now sell in pills. They didn't shred it back then. They left the heads whole, buried them in salt and water in a crock, and let time do the rest. Weeks, even months later, this is what you get. You can eat it straight from the crock, you can wrap meat in the leaves, you can roll them into sarma. The same way it's been done for 1,000.
Are you really going to eat that? Are you really going to eat it? Will you eat cabbage that is soaked in salt? Are you going to eat it? According to this video now, he was saying that, that's the best thing to do because, that according to 300 years, that's how they do it. He forgot to mention that 300 years, they were doing it because they don't have fridge. They don't have fridge 300 years ago. The sailors, they don't have fridge. So that's why they were doing it. And some viewers at home now, because someone sent me this video, that's why I'm reacting to it. Some viewers at home are going to start trying this. And this is number 1 reason why you should not try anything you see on social media. I'm not saying soaking cabbage with salt and covering it is bad. It's not bad if done properly. If you do it properly, it's not bad. What do I mean by doing it properly? And what does this actually give the body? Vitamins. It gives the body vitamin. That's why they even do it. Vitamin. But because it gives vitamin, according to the video now, he did not say the exact amount to use. He didn't say the exact amount of salt to use. He didn't say that in the video that if you want to recreate it, that these are the things you must avoid and these are the things you must do. He just did this video and now people are copying it. You understand? Are you going to copy this thing because you saw it? What if you copy it now and maybe you are trying to replicate your own now? You didn't cover it well. Or you are trying to replicate your own and then you carry it and dump in the fridge or dump it in the freezer. You see? So before you copy some things, you must first look into it. You must cover it properly so that air will not enter inside. If air enter inside, then you are risking your life. You are risking your life. You are risking your life from getting disease, from contamination. Because the purpose of this is to make sure that air does not enter inside. What is the proper way to do it? First of all, get your jar. They used jar 300 years ago because they don't have fridge. So they use jar. They get their cabbage. They wash it properly. They get their raw cabbage. You cannot do it now. It's difficult to do it now because the cabbage these days are being processed with chemicals. Back then, they don't process their cabbage with chemicals. Are you following what I'm saying? Back then, they don't process their cabbage with chemicals. But now, cabbage these days are being processed with chemicals so that it will last longer. So before you do your own, you must make sure that the cabbage you are using, that you actually grew it from your farm. If you bought it from the market, you must ask questions. This cabbage, did they process it with chemical? If you take cabbage that is processed with chemical and soak it in water with salt because you saw a TikTok video, you're going to be putting your health at risk. You understand? So you must make sure that the cabbage you are using is chemical free. Then you can cut it and put a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. Some people are going to see that maybe because in the video now, he was just pouring salt. He didn't say use a teaspoon of salt. He didn't say use a half teaspoon of salt. He just poured salt. You must use a little bit of salt depending on the size of the cabbage. If it's a small cabbage, you must use like half teaspoon of salt. If it's a big cabbage, you can use a bigger one, a bigger teaspoon. I'm not pouring salt just because you saw him pouring salt. You start pouring salt in the cabbage. You understand? So that's how they do it. You put it in the jar, you add a little bit of water, and then you cover it properly. You cover it in a way. You cover it. If you want to replicate something like this now, this is actually very good. If you do it perfectly, if you do it nicely, it's actually very good. But you must make sure that air does not enter inside. If air enter inside, then it's just like you just wasted your time. You must do it airtight free. If the English is correct, airtight free. That's if you want to replicate it now, you must do it with something like cooler. If you don't have this jar, because some people were saying in the comment now, how do they get this? If you don't have this jar, you can do it with cooler. You know that cooler that they used to put rice. You can do it with cooler, because cooler you can push the cover down and it will airtight. It will seal everything. You can do it with cooler. Anything aside from cooler, I can't even think of any other thing you can use for it. And you must not store it more than 1 week. If you do all these procedures now and you follow the procedures rightly, you must not store it more than 1 week. You should do it between 5 to 7 days. That's after doing all these things, putting it in cooler and sealing it. You must make sure you don't store it more than 1 week. If you store it more than 1 week, it's going to spoil. The whole process is going to spoil, and it's not going to be nice to eat it. You understand? So yes, you can eat it with meat. Yes, you can eat it with steak. You know, you get your, just like how you used to eat your suya and your cabbage and all those stuff. You can still do it. But why will you even go through all this process just so that you can get vitamin C? You understand? Why not just do your cabbage instead of going through all this process? Why not just plant your cabbage, harvest it, wash it properly, wash it with salt properly, and then eat your cabbage? Store it in the fridge like you used to do. Whenever you want to eat cabbage, you cut a little slice of cabbage, you eat it with meat, you eat it with whatever, instead of going through all this process just to get the same vitamin C. You understand? So 300 years ago, they were going through all this process because they don't have fridge. If they do get their cabbage from the ground and then they wash it, if they eat it that day, the next day, if they don't store it properly, after 2 days, 3 days, the cabbage will start spoiling. So they do all these things to actually preserve their cabbage because they don't have fridge. That is the only reason why they do this. You understand? So you out there, we live in a modern world now where everybody has fridge. So you, on the other hand, you don't need to go through all this. So Content Point said, the day I tried it, I ended up getting typhoid. I really don't know what I did wrong. You put a lot of salt. Because you saw a TikTok video and then you wanted to replicate. You didn't ask why. You didn't ask question in the comments. Are you supposed to do it? How are you supposed to do it? What is the measurement of salt? What is the measurement of water? How am I supposed to store it? Am I supposed to do all these things, put it in flask or put it in cooler and then still put it in freezer? You didn't ask all these questions. You just saw a TikTok video and then you decided to replicate it. And then the result of that is typhoid. So then said, how does it actually taste? Well, it tastes like cabbage, depending on how you do it. If you put so much salt, it tastes like cabbage filled with salt. You understand? If you put so much salt, it tastes like cabbage filled with salt. And it's going to taste, I can't even imagine, cabbage doesn't taste nice. Cabbage tastes ugly. Cabbage tastes ugly. I don't like eating cabbage. Imagine the cabbage that is now soaked in salt. Cabbage tastes ugly. Imagine cabbage that is soaked in salt. It's going to taste so bad. I will die eating those things for a week, let alone for 3 years. Yes, because we live in a modern world. We live in a world whereby you can just put it in fridge, and when you eat something that is being brought out from fridge, it tastes better. So I understand why you said you will die for weeks, let alone eating it for 3 years. The people who ate it back then, they didn't have alternative. They didn't have fridge. So they have to store it in a way to preserve it. So they don't have option. If you are maybe in your village 300 years ago, if they are in their village and then they are traveling to some other place via sheep or via donkey or via whatever, they don't have access to their farm again. And then they have food stuff. They have food that they want to take to another place that they are traveling to. What are they going to do? They don't have fridge. So they have to find a way to store it so that it doesn't spoil, so that as they do their traveling, they can have something to eat. So that's why they do it.
Take a look at this video. So this is one of the largest Garri industrial processing plants we have in Nigeria today. Just watch and see how many machines are here, and you will also see exactly how they process this Garri down from the cassava to this point. Watch and see. And another thing is that some of the most shocking thing is that all the equipment you see here were manufactured in Nigeria. Now watch. See the finished product. Fine looking Garri. There's also another machine here, which is this, that helps to shift the Garri to remove hard particles and all of that. And you can see, right? You see all the machines. Now watch. Now you are going to see exactly the machines that does the peeling of cassava, then down to the machine that does the grinding and then draining before it is brought to this section where it is fried. Now this is the machine that does the peeling. It was manufactured locally, so don't be afraid. You can see it. Just watch and see how he handles the peeling of this cassava. Very fast, very efficient, and of course it does the job very, very neat. You see the skins, they've been peeled. Now watch. Boom. You see that? Now after the skins have been peeled, the next thing is that they grind the cassava. Then after allowing it to ferment, they bring them here to drain the water from the cassava before they are then brought to this place where they handle the frying, the shifting, then the bagging before this Garri are taken to the market or are exported to the various countries of demand. And if you watch here, the sweet thing about this whole thing is the fact that all these equipments were manufactured in Nigeria. And I'm beginning to wonder exactly why many people still believe that we are incapable when it comes to the industrializing the processing of our food. These guys have made it very, very possible. They've shown that it is highly possible to manufacture our own processing plants.
So my question number one now is, who is going to eat this? That is question number one. Who is actually going to eat this? Us. This processing now is for Nigerians. We are going to eat this Garri. According to this video was actually about 3 minutes. I have to trim it to 2 minutes. In the whole 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 50 seconds was about him praising the machine, how the machine is being processed in Nigeria, and how Nigerians should be proud, and how all those things. First 10 seconds of the video, he dipped his hand inside the Garri, not dipping his hand inside the one that will be fed to pig or rats. Dipped his raw hand inside Garri that will be sent to consumers. But then he didn't talk about that one. He only kept shouting about how the machines are nice, how they are processed in Nigeria, and then we should start clapping because the machines are produced in Nigeria locally. We should start clapping because they are locally. What happened to safety standard? And then I guarantee you that I wanted to say that Garri like this, that they don't even have standard organization number. And then I remember that who is even talking about standard organization number when it's just Garri that they will put in painter, and then they will start selling it to marketers that will start trooping there to buy Garri white, and then this other person is buying Garri red. It has 0 standard organization number. There is no body or no policy or no organization that is coming to check their processing place to make sure that they are actually doing it properly. Dipped his hand, that is the one that pained me, dipped his hand inside Garri that somebody is going to buy at the market. You see, this is number one reason why people always say that it's not good to buy food outside. You understand? It's not good to buy food outside. Even cooked food. Cooked food is terrible. I could have got videos of how different people cook their food. You know, how they cook food at hotel, how they cook food at, their backyard cooking, how they do it. But I just decided to do these 2 videos. Imagine, this is the people that process the food. Imagine after dipping hand inside the garri that you will eat, you the final consumer, you will eat this garri that somebody dipped hand inside. We are talking about that it is already that he has already contaminated the garri. That is contamination number one. He will now sell it to marketers that will carry it, maybe put it in keke, maybe put it in barrow. Contamination number two, and take it to their market. Well, we all know how Nigerian market is. It's not like foreign market. There is no safety, there is no standard organization that is going to make sure that their marketplace is neat. You have gone to market, you have gone to Nigerian market, you see how the people that sell food stuff, you see how the place is always dirty. You see how when they sweep their place, they rinse buckets and then they pour it in front of their shop. In front of the shop that they sell the both the ogu, the bitter leaf, the garri, the oil, the whole place is messed up. Remember that from the processing plant, someone else have dipped hand inside the garri that you eat. Somebody have dipped hand inside. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, how it was transported, which is dirty. Mistake number three, the people that are selling it to you, the place is dirty. Mistake number four, you now walk, you buy it, you take it to your house, and then you eat it. Because it's already a finished garri. It's not something that you wash. And then after it, you just swallow it. And then you discover that after eating food like this, you just start having disease. You start having disease and you are like, your village people after you. Or after eating garri like this, you start having problem in your throat. Or you start having digestion problem. Your body can't digest the food properly. How can your body digest the food properly when everything in your stomach is messed up? Everything you have put in your stomach is messed up. The soup, the amazing soup that you cook, messed up. The ogu, the people who took the ogu from their farm, dirty. Maybe they even stored it with chemical. The food industry in this country is very bad, and you know it. The food industry in this country is bad, and you know it. But then we keep buying food, we keep buying outside food, and then we just put it on God, that God will take care of us, God will save us. How is God supposed to save us from things like this? And the place is also very neat too. See how dirty the place is, where they produce your food, where they process your food. And then he was boasting that, see how the machine is peeling the cassava. Well, he's peeling the cassava so nice. How was that so nice? It was peeling the cassava, and then you saw the hand of all of them. All of them were putting their hand inside where it was peeling. They put their hand inside, and then nobody was wearing glove. And all these things, they are going to do it, and then they are going to say that world class. It's world class. If you don't support them, if you make videos like this to say these people are not following the standard of how food are supposed to be processed, they are going to first of all tag you that you are a hater, that you don't support locally made products, locally made goods. How are you going to support locally made something like? How are you going to support this? You understand? So the best thing you can always do for yourself is to do your food at home. I understand that not everybody can do their food at home because people go to work, people go to job and all of that. But then that is still the best thing you can do, to do your food at home. At my own place, I have a small garden. Where I plant my tomatoes. Because if you go out there to buy tomatoes or to buy pepper, we are not even talking about maybe the pepper is small or the tomato is small, how dirty it is, how dirty the place you are buying it is. We are not talking about the people that produces from the farm, which dirty number one. We are now talking about the place that you are buying it, the place you went to buy it. Everywhere looks messed up. Hey, madam, I want to buy ogo. Ogo of how much? Ogo of 500. And then the woman will cost the ogo, dip it inside dirty water, and then shake it, raise it up, put it on top of a stone that she have been using since she opened her store 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and then be cutting it, with the bacteria, with everything, and then be slicing it, and then pack it under their, from their tray, pack it from the tray, put it in waterproof, and then give you. And then you go home, and then you think that because you are washing it with salt, that you are going to wash away the sense of the bacteria. You wash it with salt, and then at the end of the day, you eat chaff, and then you say that wow, you ate soup, and then you ate soup, you ate nice meal, balanced diet, you ate food from the slicing, they are cutting away the whole nutrient from slicing it, and then you still took it home, and then you washed it with salt, and then you put it inside your pot of soup, and then you eat chaff leaf, because the whole ingredients have left. The one that now went home with you is now dirty. So this is very bad, and therefore you must watch whatever thing you buy. You must watch where you buy your food stuff from. You must watch how it is being processed. If you don't have time to watch all these things, the best thing you can always do is to make sure you process your food at home. Process your garri at home. This video now just made me remember, back then when we were small, we used to process our own garri. Every family used to process their garri. You just wake up and you just randomly see maybe this other neighbor, they went to farm and then they got their cassava, and then you see them, they are cutting their cassava, and all the other children will come and help them and cut the cassava, and then they will do it, and then they will process it inside the compound. You see that people are processing what they are eating. The next day, another person will go to farm and collect their own cassava, and then they will bring it out, and all the children will come and help cut the cassava, and then the mothers will do their processing. And then you wonder, back then you are not even sick. You rarely get sick because you actually process your food. Everybody had a little plantation where they plant their food. We don't buy tomatoes back then. We don't buy pepper. You just go to where the small garden, and then you just pluck, put it in water, and then you grind your pepper, and then you eat nice healthy meal. It's not possible now again because everybody is trying to make quick money. Pepper that is supposed to grow, maybe a pepper stand that is supposed to grow 20 pepper, they use so much chemical and make it so that it will grow 100 pepper, so that they will sell more and make more money. Cassava that they are supposed to process cassava, store it inside that water that they use to store cassava and cover it, that is supposed to take maybe 3 or 4 days, or I remember how many days it used to take. They will now do it quick and add all these chemicals so that it will get done quick, so that they can take it to market and sell it, because people are hungry and people want to buy cassava. They don't care how it's processed. Their own is that cassava, they have molded cassava, and then how they used to decorate it in hotel and all those places they cook food, and then you go and eat cassava, and then you go there, and then cassava don't even smell. Cassava don't even smell in this country again. Back then cassava used to smell. If you bring your hand, it doesn't smell again. It's all nonsense because they so much process it with chemical, and then it's moved from cassava to chaff. So you must be very careful out there. Whatever thing you are doing, if you are going to buy food, you must be very careful of where you buy your food from. So I think that will be all for now, and hopefully remember to, whatever thing you think about this episode, drop it in the comment section. Just like I said, if you drop it in the comment section, I'll talk about it on next episode. And if you want me to talk about some certain topic, also drop it in the comment section so that I'll read it, I'll go through all of it, and then we'll talk about it on next video.